Hello, this is my Viper guide on Lotus. I'm going to be going over some of the things I talked about in my first video on Lotus, which came out about a week ago, so I recommend you go and watch that before you watch this. Don't worry if you don't. If you want to play Viper on this map, this is a good video for you to watch. I'm going to be talking about some of the main things that you need to take note when you're playing Viper, and some like good walls, some good lineups, maybe not even lineups. I might not do lineups. So first things first, Viper's good at defending on every site. We're going to talk about defense first. So she's good at defending on every site. She can do it on every site. And another thing to also be taking note of is that the A main area, this A lobby type area, is a very important area to hold for both teams. So if you can contribute to this area from anywhere, then you'll actually have way more value on a team than if you can't, right? Or if you can contribute to defending C by yourself very easily, or contribute to defending B by yourself very easily, then it means that more players can go defend or attack, or like just in general, like be a part of this A main take, right? So being like an asset to your team, like Viper's very good at all those things as well. So that's like very, very important to realize with Viper, that she may end up being the main smoke, she may end up being the secondary smoke. I have a feeling she's going to end up being a secondary type smoke, similar to how you would see Bind. Fnatic play Bind, and how you may end up seeing Harbor in the future, because Harbor is definitely going to be in the future games in the competitive scene in 2023, and he's going to be a very, very strong second smoker. And you know, we're going to see him, and I think we will end up seeing him on Lotus, and I think Viper is also an alternative option that we're going to see on Lotus too. So the first wall is this one. This wall is one of the most broken walls that you can do on Lotus. As I broken, not really broken, it's the strongest walls on Lotus, right? So what it does is it first of all cuts this part in half. So it's very, very hard for some attackers. It can obviously mean they can walk through, right? You can actually do a bit more flush to this corner, so they can't just straight up walk through. I would actually recommend maybe doing it a bit more flush to this corner, so they can't just walk through. In fact, it's pretty better that they can't. But the main thing about this wall is that it cuts off. Or at least it does it's a wall here, right? So it means that they get decayed instantly when walking out into this space. And that's important, right? Because a lot of the agents you're going to see that defend this space on your team are going to be like Raze, KO, Sova. So the decay can mean that they get a kill with utility that they wouldn't have already got, that they wouldn't have got normally. And that's like really important, right? And importantly as well, that they can't even see the util coming. They can hear it, but they can't see it. So they may not know that it's going to hit them until it's hit them, potentially, right? Because it's cutting off their sight line. You can also have things like maybe your first smoker, your Omen is going to TP there, and this smoke wall will delay them enough, right? Maybe they have to throw a flash through the smoke to kind of get out of the smoke, or maybe they have to throw a KO knife and wait for that to pop before they actually feel they can push through that smoke. And that can give your Omen time, like an Omen time to TP and sit in this corner, or maybe a Neon to run there and cause problems. So this smoke overall is one of probably the best walls you can do on Viper. And I actually pair this with a setup on C, as I'm right next to C when I throw the wall anyway. It makes a lot of sense, especially for solo queue, because you don't be like running all over the map on solo queue, because people will not understand, and then you'll have like sites open and things like that, unless you're very good at coming it. But you comment a lot and they actually understand. So the smoke I use is this. So I'm lining up the throw boxes at the bottom. I'm not sure like the part of the UI. I'm lining up the bottom right corner of the right click box with this corner here. And then I'm jumping and right clicking at the pinnacle of my jump, and it will be on there, right? And this is a one way. So if you stand here, this is a one way. So if they come through, they can't see you at all, and you can see their legs. So you can actually just shoot them as they come through. It's really, really broken, actually. But bear in mind that you will get smoked off, maybe, probably, from here if they're actually doing a C take. But this definitely adds to the pressure you have on C. Because it means, like, we need a smoke to go C. If we don't have a smoke here on C, we basically can't go there, because we're going to get one-wayed and, like, sprayed down in the one-way. Or we have to wait for the Viper to run out of fuel, right? And then we maybe should try and fight them. But obviously, you can still play quite safe. Like when your fuel's about to go down, just start walking this way, and there you've got this angle to play off, right? It's actually a very, very safe place to be. on C site. I really like it. And then while we're on C, I'm going to talk about some of the ults you can do. I've only really found one nice ult that I actually like. And it's this one. So you just go on the corner of this and here. It's very unsafe type ult. But what it does is it just means that they have to spend a lot of time in your pit before they reach the choke point. But by the time they get here, they're really decayed. And you kill them in like 1 or 2 bullets. Or maybe 3. So as they come through, they're going to be highlighted red and you can get 1 kill. Maybe come back. Go through the smoke. Or, like come back and go back into the smoke. Start spraying through there. They're going to be very decayed. It's not the best one. I'm pretty sure there's probably better ones. So I probably need to find your own lineups, your own pits and that sort of stuff. I'm pretty sure there's probably better ones than this. I haven't looked around at any ones that have done need, but I personally like that one. I haven't got a pit on B. But I've got one on A, so we'll have a look at those now. So B is one that I think you will play sometimes. And the reason being is because I think, well, first of all, your smoke is nice here because it just helps the push. And I actually think that you can play 4 in this area, right? So you play 2 here. Sorry, let me get my pings back. I'll max out my pings then. So we've got 2 here, and we'll have 2 here. There you go, we'll have 2 here. And you'll be one of these people that are in this sort of area, right? So you're going to be probably doing this wall. And then you also have your orb. What you'll do is you'll sit in sort of support of this area, right? So if it starts, if the like A fight's going, you kind of like fighting the A fight, and then you would keep an eye on this sort of area after the smoke goes down and that sort of stuff. And I think, and then like in this case, you probably have like a chamber, sort of watching C, and then you'd have like the 4 players towards this area, and you'd kind of be like on and off watching B. And then not too badly, like if they do want to take the space, they'll take it, and then you kind of like post plant. You're going to be trying to like stop the smokes. You may have a chaos flashing through this area as well. So you're going to be quite a nuisance from this little area too. And it all comes down to controlling this sort of area. And that's kind of all I have on B. I didn't actually get a pit that I liked. And there are some pits, obviously you can probably just do some pits off like this. But I didn't particularly like them because I think a lot of the time when people are going to go B, they're going to try and take this space first, and then they're going to flank. And I couldn't get one that I actually thought was good at defending both places, while also having like the high ground. I'm not going to test them now, but there probably is 1 or 2 that would work. But I haven't found them yet, or I haven't found ones that I particularly like. Maybe I'm thinking maybe a bit too hard about it. I haven't played ranked, like I said. I don't think I've even said it. I haven't played Lotus in ranked yet. It will be, I would have done by the time this video goes out. So my opinions might have changed. You might have to go and see. So twitch.tv/ZOmegalol. That's my opinion on Lotus if you want to. It's always in my description. So you know, if you can ask me questions there and things like that about videos. That's all good. I'm always liking to answer questions. And then on A, I don't have a particular thing I like to do on A with the wall. Like I said, like I don't particularly like playing actually A. It's sort of like this area, and I don't think you really contribute a huge amount past putting this wall down and then breaking this, and then you can like start doing mollies to get something coming out. And then once this happens, you're either going to go back into here, or you're going to go in here. The only time I think you're ever going to be like on C is if you're going to ult. And I think there's an ult from... Actually, I think the ult is here now. And when it does, it just completely controls this area. You see... Oh, wait, it shouldn't completely... Okay, I did it wrong. It's on this corner, actually. There we go. So what it does is it gives you like an option to be in some annoying position like this, but it also gives you... But it also fully stops people from being in this area. Obviously, they can just use the door and get through, right? So this is where having this comes into play. Where you will be like in and out of the thing, right? You're gonna have the orb, and then if the door opens, you know, give it like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and start mollying this. And then you've got a lot of control of A main. It might be borrowed time, I guess, of control. But you also have like control if they try and plant, then you've got this to wallbang. if they try and plant in here, you obviously have all this, but you know, there's maybe some plants that you can't quite like get to. I mean, maybe like in this corner or something. I'm not sure if this is wall bangle, is it? It looks like it. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I do think you have like a lot of options off this. My ultimate is ready. And that's basically it for defense, I think. Then we're going to go over some attack. So on attack, I think Viper really struggles on B. And I'm going to go over that really quickly now. And then I'll go over the other two sites. So the reason why I think Viper struggles on B is because she can't put up the wall instantly. You have to actually take, you have to take a main. You have to actually take this sort of space before you can actually place the wall to go B. And in some ways that's a good thing, in some ways it's a bad thing. So the reason why it's a bad thing sometimes is that you have a prerequisite to taking that space with your wall, and there's a chance you can die before you do that. You put yourself in danger to then place the util. When Viper likes to place the util and then kind of like play time with her utility, like the longer she lives, the better. And having to take space to use it can sometimes be a detriment to the Viper, especially because she may just end up dying in some of these situations where you have to take the space first. So the wall in question is this, where it's a good wall, to be honest, to take B. It can like let some people out in this corner, and the high ground is still very much available to anyone that wants to swing through the wall. But I think it is good enough to take B with, and then you sort of take this stay in this space and use mollies to in the post plant, right? Like this. Very, very honestly self-explanatory once it gets to post plant. Viper usually is. But I think the problem is that you do have to try and coordinate taking this space with your team. And that can be hard to do in solo queue. In the like competitive, I can understand that probably is actually going to be a fairly consistent thing potentially. Depends on how what's being played with it, like agents wise, and what enemies do in response, like generally, and that sort of stuff, right? And what are the options for the defense to stop that from happening? Or do they even need to stop that from happening? Is it very easy to retake? And therefore it doesn't actually end up happening that much. Like, I don't know those questions yet. I don't know the answer to those questions yet. And so right now, I feel like it may be a bit too risky to ever try and do something like this. But it probably will work in ranked or in competitive, not competitive, but ranked and like solo queue. Then we're going to go over C, attacking C. So you have a good wall. Simply, you can go up like this. You can place a wall like this if you want to. This is a pretty decent wall. It just means you can take. Wait, doesn't usually do that. Okay, that was weird. But bear in mind there's a potential bug there. Maybe it's because I placed it like this, or something. I don't know, like in there or something. Okay, but this is potential wall you can do to plant, like in this position. Just very, very simple wall. You can also do ones that are deeper like this from very far out. Just in general, just pause it. You probably want to then plant like this wall. I haven't got any like proper lineups yet for C. The ones I do have are just ones where I've just simply just banked I've just banked off this with the thing up. It's landed here on the edge like this, and I can wall bang them as well, or I can like shoot them while they're up there. The best I've got. There's no like extravagant ones. It's just this plant just seems very good. Like these plants like across this wall seem like the best plants, because they're very easy to play post plant from outside the sea. And also especially when this mound comes into play, like that's why I like this corner, because you can use this mound to kind of like get like very weird angles. Like there's so many different like elevations here because it's a slope that people might not be able to pre-fire you correctly, and then they can like have like a disadvantage in the fight because they pre-fire on the wrong height. So there's that with C. And I would just recommend, it's very simple on C. A lot of the takes on C I think are very simple. Maybe even eventually that we get ones like this where you don't really let the opponent in. Like once you take the space in C, like you get the first kill, then you don't really let the opponents in. You play like 2 players here ready to trade, and you play 2 players on site, or maybe 1 player on site, 1 player in main, sort of defending the flank and then playing post plant. Like you may end up having things like that as well. Very, very possible that you can do that in ranked as well, because as long as you communicate it, like where you want to take, like You can even do it actually from far away, like this. Because then you also have a smoke here. Actually, I'm not sure if I like that. So you can, like, obviously, like, if you want to play 2 people sight, then this smoke is pretty good, right? Because I have to, like, push the smoke to actually get through. But I'm not sure if I like that much. I would have to test it. And then finally attacking A. So there's pretty good walls you can do. So there's a wall you can do close like this. That means that instead of going through main, you've actually just, all 5 of you, just go belt it to the, like, go bomb it through the door. And just go rush the person in here if there's someone playing there. You can try that, and then you just plant here. And then you would start running back. For me, if you plant here, I have a lineup where I get so I get the bottom right of the hood, and I get like this little bit of the Lotus on there. On like the bottom right of like the hood lines. And that should line up perfectly with that lineup should hit corner here. So when you've done that plant, then that's the lineups I have for it. It's not too far away as well. Especially because as well you can actually see it. You can see that like edge plant here from main, right? So you can actually see everyone there. And this is wall bangable too. So if they are slightly behind that, then you wall bang them. And there's also ones where front sight as well, where you can like jump, throw them off that wall, and it will hit front sight. That's for another wall as well. So wall, which is very, very similar wall, but I haven't quite got it right on the balcony part. I don't know how to get a good enough wall there. I might have done it now. No, I didn't. You can see it's very, very fiddly. I'm gonna have to get like a proper lineup for that. Where I actually like put it on the balcony. But I think it is definitely exists in this corner. It's just the problem is that, like, if you go too far this way, then you end up with like a gap on like the far part like this. And you don't want that, because it means that they can just sit up here and just not care about the smoke. You don't want that either. So you want to be kind of like, maybe you actually don't place that wall instantly. Maybe you do something like sort of throw the smoke out to block that, like that. So you bounce off this, then you do a jump, sort of throw to block that, and then you sort of come up here and take this space, and then when you're here, you line up like perpendicular basically, or like the perpendicular might be the right word. You line up with it, and then you do the smoke. You can also take this back through the wall, and there you go. That green smoked off. Then obviously that happened here. Obviously that might not be the best way to do it. I'm gonna obviously eventually find something better, probably a better solution for that. But that's the solution I have now. This is actually good. I did this on the fly. Yeah, that's actually good. I did that on the fly, but I like it a lot. Okay, well, there you go. On street, live on video. And that one, nice. There you go. Pretty good. The thing is, I was thinking to myself that I need to find a lineup for that, and it turns out I don't. Not really. Just bounce it off there by jumping and running. Yeah, it's very, very simple. Very, very nice as well. Very nice, simple one. Don't really need to learn very much for that. And there you go. That's pretty much it for Viper on Lotus. Very, very swift one. Not much to show because I'm not as knowledgeable on the map as I want to be yet. With a lot of other maps, I have a lot more experience on them, and I know a lot more about the agents and stuff. But right now, this is where I'm up to with Viper, and I'm pretty sure that this will be pretty well good enough basically to win me rounds, win me games in Immortal. So you know, until then, like unless you're rated, or maybe higher than me in Immortal, then this stuff will probably work for you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. If you want to see more, then I would subscribe. Yeah. Then subscribe. And give it a like if you really liked it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the